So, hello. So it's not, well, it is Chatterwitch Wednesday, but I'm afraid it's coming to you on Runic Thursday, which I haven't even done either, which may come up later today, or maybe will be Runic Thursday on a Friday and Chatterwitch Wednesday on a Thursday. So as I've spoken about the last few times, there's a lot going on for me, and it's really, really emotionally challenging, emotionally draining. It's just really quite horrible, and I don't have any control over changing any of it or doing anything. So I'm still struggling with all of that, and I did have a bit of a breakdown on I don't know what day it was, Monday or Tuesday, or I don't know. And I did some healing, I did some cleansing, I used some solfeggio, I did quite a bit of work, I did lots of grounding and centering, and connecting with the universe and the runes, and what I had in my toolbox to do some work with. And again, I've really noticed that so many people are going through some really challenging stuff, and whether it's because Saturn is retrograde and we've got issues with boundaries and stuff. So what I thought today, instead of, well, we don't really want to just keep talking about negative stuff, so that's not good for us. So I thought I'd do some cards. So we're going to do part of the TP spread that I do. Normally that's past, present, future possibilities, structure needed, medicine you can call upon, prayers and blessings already being answered, challenge, and our victory at the top. Well, I'm going to miss out the past, present, and future possibilities because we're just going to do what is needed, what structure do we need to keep things going as they should and help us. In fact, I've just been told, no, I'm not even doing structures needed. What I'm going to be doing is medicine we can call upon, because that is what we need in these trying times. So we need to know what medicine we can call upon. We do need to connect in with the prayers and blessings and gratitudes that we're already grateful for, because we always have to do that when we have challenging times, because there is gratitude there even in our darkest times and darkest hours. The other thing that I'm really struggling with is the heat, because it really sets off my fibromyalgia, and it makes me very unwell. And I've been just so grateful, the fact that I've got a fan that helps, the fact that I can go and just dampen, wash my face with cold water, fresh, out of the tap. I mean, let's not get into whether it's fresh or not, but anyway, cold water. Don't want to get into that one. So and just that is something to be really grateful for, isn't it? The fact that I can have a nice cold shower, I can cool myself down, I can have a nice drink of water, a nice cup of jasmine tea, so there's all that. So and then we will do the challenge, because obviously there's challenges around us. So we'll connect in with the challenge, and then we'll do the victory at the top. So what I'm using is the medicine cards by David Carson and Jamie Sams. And then the Sacred Path cards by Jamie Sams. So as I've been chatting, I've just shuffled the medicine cards, so they're raring to go, and I'm connecting in now with the Sacred Path cards and giving them a good shuffle. So so just a bit of guidance for us all, just a bit of help, and you might be able to take the guidance, you might not. It might be for you, it might not, but I'm putting it out there that anyone can connect in, and at any time. So, you know, it doesn't have to be like today. You know, someone could watch this in a year's time, and it will be that they've been guided to listen to the guidance that the cards are giving us, the guides are giving us. So I'm ready now. So let's just what I do is I shuffle the cards and then I cut them. Everyone's got their own little way that they do. I cut them 3 times, and then I put them back together with the one that the pile that feels the one that I want to connect with, and it's this one here in the middle there. So I'm going to put that on top. Do the same with the sacred path. Oh, that one's on top, definite. So we'll go with that. So let's see what we've got. So we're going to do first the medicine that we can call upon. Then we're going to do our gratitude, then our challenge, and then our sort of victory as such, because it doesn't matter how dark times get, there's always, you know, we always get through them, you know, no matter how difficult it is. Now, what I do is I use the Sacred Path as my main cards, and then I use the medicine cards as more medicine, as more what it will help. So as I do the first Sacred Path card, then I take the medicine card and read it together. Oh, so we've got interesting. So do you know, this is quite fabulous, because we've got Hioki 22, so he's the divine trickster. So in the northern tradition, that would be Loki, and funnily enough, Loki is you know, Saturn is Loki's domain. And of course it's gone retrograde, so Loki's gone off. Now Loki keeps the boundaries, he you know, he does the boundaries in the world, he keeps things in place. So when it's gone retrograde, this is now, we're finding boundaries all over the place, just and people have then got to take charge. We've got to take responsibility for our own stuff. So in what's going on for me, well, I had my like really fast dark night of the soul, and I came back out, I rebirthed out of it, and I realized that I couldn't do anything. So you know, it was out of my control, but what the control that I had was my boundaries, what I was going to accept, what I needed to do for me, for my health, and my, you know, my happiness and everything. So if we look at Hioki, he showed us the you know, humor when everything is so serious and so difficult. He's talking about, you know, just bringing in the humor, you know, laugh at yourself, see how serious you're taking everything. Now, even if it is a serious matter that we would see as a serious matter, he's still saying, you know, for God's sake, lighten up. You can't wallow in that energy, you've got to lift yourself out of it. And funnily enough, I sat and I watched a really silly little series on Netflix, a comedy series, as Catherine Tate. I quite like Catherine Tate. I know a lot of people don't, because it's quite blunt watching, but for me, you know, it just made me laugh, and it did help lift it. So let's see what our, yeah, now you see, this is really putting it into perspective, isn't it? Really, we've got the hummingbird. The hummingbird is about joy. It's about, you know, finding the nectar in life, finding the sweetness when we're in that dark place, when we're, you know, it doesn't mean we're wallowing, you know, because if we've had a wave of like darkness wrap itself around us, you know, yeah, sometimes we wallow. Absolutely, of course we do. You know, we're all human. We do human things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we've wallowed in it. But it, you know, we may be surrounded and in it, and we need to laugh. We need to release it. We need to move out of it, because being in that darkness doesn't take away what's going on. So, you know, we can be in that victim mode, but how is that actually helping us? You know, if we can't change the circumstances round something, then there's no point in us being in the dark place, because it's not actually going to help our energy. So we do need to lift up. We need to come up. We need to spiral up. We need to start seeing the joy. And that's a bit about the gratitude, isn't it? You know, the fact that everything is absolutely horrendous and shit, and we can't do anything about it. But I can have a nice cup of jasmine tea, which actually I find extremely pleasurable. So it might be something really small. You know, it might be go out into your garden and, you know, look at your flowers, look at the colours, watch a bee collecting its nectar. If you're lucky enough to be somewhere where there's hummingbirds, you know, watch a hummingbird connecting the nectar, and you know, try and do something that is going to shift your energy. You know, sometimes we just need to lay down and go to sleep and let that energy sort of go off into that dream state. And sometimes, you know, it's being dealt with on another level. But you know, the Hioki's here to sort of say, he's having a go, you know, he's saying, for God's sake, you know, yes, I'm not saying that it's not horrible. I'm not saying that you're not having a horrible time. I'm not saying, you know, to ignore it. I'm not saying to just brush it off and just ignore it, because that is so bad for our emotional health and well-being. But let's lighten up. Let's use laughter. Let's use joy. Let's lift ourselves out of that space as much as we can. Is the stuff still going on? Yes. You know, that is, and divine timing and whatever. You've got to let the process, you've got to let whatever's going on, you've got to let it move through. We can't stop any of this stuff. We're not in charge of stuff like that. When we have something that we can change and do something about, that's absolutely fine. And it doesn't mean just ignore it and don't. That you've got the opportunity to maybe change something by doing something, that's great. But when it's a case of like that, you've just got to surrender to it. You've got to surrender it up to the universe. You've got to just let the universe, because it's going to work through whether you're in the dark place or not. So if you're in the dark and you're wallowing, or you're so just really struggling to get yourself out of it, you've got to find something that is going to make you laugh. Dance, you know, put on some music that reminds you of good times, you know, a lovely night out you had, you know, when you were dancing with friends, or, you know, just something. So that's our first two cards. So and look at the numbers. Oh my goodness, we got 22, which is the number, the master number of universal building. If we add them up, we've got 4, which is foundations building. So, you know, we need to think of that as well. We need to think of that energy. And then we've got 44, so the double of it, you know. So that's really strong and powerful. We need to, when we're in the dark place, we don't need to ignore it. We don't need to push it down, stuff it down inside us and ignore it. We need to, you know, maybe have a good cry and whatever. And then we need to start to build up that energy of joy, of, you know, of laughter, of that, the opposite to that energy. So that was our medicine we can call upon. So we need to call upon that when we're in the dark place. Call upon the trickster. Call upon the hummingbird, the joy. Call upon those things to help lift you out of that space. And then we go across and we move to, oh, okay, so that's a bit stronger. So we're moving across to gratitude. We've got quite a strange card in the place of gratitude and blessings, because we've got the sun dance, we've got self-sacrifice. So, you know, that's a powerful card. It's a number 6, so it's like a nurturing. So it's like, you know, sacrifice, self-sacrifice. Give up that darkness. Don't wallow in it. Give up being the victim. You know, when they're doing the sun dance, and you know, they are, or this is very Odin for me. This is him on the world tree. This is, you know, he's pierced himself with the sword. He's had no food, no drink, and he's just hanging there for the, you know, the wisdom to come and everything. And yeah, you know, the pain's there. The pain is there from whatever darkness you're having, but you just gotta release. You just gotta let go. They don't see themselves as a victim. Odin didn't see himself as a victim. He saw himself going through some really deep shit to get to the other side. Now, who knows, this darkness that we're going through, who knows that it doesn't make us a better person? It doesn't release us from past wounds. It doesn't take us further than we've been before. So that's the gratitude. It's a weird one, isn't it? Be grateful for the shit you're being given. I mean, yeah, right, but true, really, because if we, it make, you know, it's the saying, what doesn't hurt, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. It does. When we're in the darkness, when we're in a dark night of the soul, when we're wallowing, when we're feeling the victim, when we're in that moment of that real yucky place, we don't feel that we're going to be stronger. We don't feel, but you know, once you've come through that strength that took you to not give up, to keep going, that is the strength and courage, and it connects us in. We're going into Uruz. Well, Uruz has come in today, the rune of courage, the rune of strength, you know, and that's it. It's, you know, this is the first day of Uruz, so we still got Feu and Uruz together, but we're going into Uruz fully tomorrow. And yeah, think of this as your growth. And yes, it's not pleasant, but again, think of the dragonfly, think of the butterfly, think of that metamorphosis. I mean, it can't be pleasant being that butterfly. You know, I mean, they go from one creature to a completely different creature, and really that's what's happening for us. You know, we're sacrificing, and you're sacrificing the fears, because when you're in the darkness, you connect with fear. You know, whatever it is, you're fearful. Maybe you've got an illness and you're fearful, you know, are you going to die? Or, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, you know, you're in that limbo of like, shit, what is going to happen to me? But, you know, that all that courage and strength that you use to get through that. So let's find what animal. Oh, interesting indeed. So we have the dog. Number 15, so that would give us at 14, that would give us a 5, which is about change, and we can see that we're having change with the sacrificing, with the stuff. But remember, this is the gratitude. So this is our gratitudes and blessings and prayers that are already being answered. So what it's saying is that already you are moving through. It's the universe saying, oh my goodness, well done. Oh, you know, we have thrown some really dark shit at you, or there's, or not even that they've thrown it at us, that, I mean, maybe they have, but maybe, you know, I mean, it could possibly be karmic and you're working through it, and, you know, so it's a pat on the back because, you know, you're doing the right things. Dog is about loyalty. Now, dog will be about loyal to others, but it's about loyalty to yourself. So, you know, if we look at this with the boundary keeping and whatever, you know, if you're getting stuff from other people, and you feel like you should take it because, you know, it's a family member or something like that, no, you need to be loyal to yourself. You need to put yourself first in that respect. You need to say, no, I am not being dragged into your drama. I am not being dragged into that darkness. I'm getting myself out of that darkness. I'm moving forward, and I'm going to be loyal to myself. I'm going to put up my boundaries. Yes, my heart is with you, or whatever it, you know, it is, but I need to be loyal to me first, is what the dog for me is saying. You know, if we look at dogs, you know, I mean, the poor thing, they will take shit, you know, and they'll still come back to you with absolute loyalty and love. And it's like us going in, and it's like us, you know, loving our inner child, loving our inner being, loving ourselves enough to say no, to do what's needed for us, to help that joy and that come back in. So that, you know, very interesting cards there we have. I'm going to move now over to the challenge card. So I don't need a challenge. I've got enough challenges going on, but we'll see what the challenge is trying to say, and if there's anything that we can use from it. Well, we've got a lovely card for it, actually. We've got the Vision Quest, Seeking and Finding. So I think that's really the whole crux of everything. You know, it's go within. When it's dark, you know, go into the darkness. Don't run and hide, you know, just collapse in a heap. Go in there, and, you know, sometimes we try and brush stuff off. We shouldn't do that. We sort of said that, you know, we can't like stuff it down. Let's not look at it. We know that we need to come out of it at some point, but also the Vision Quest, that going in there will have answers. You know, we'll get the answers we need. It'll be clearer because we've gone in. Now, the reason it's in the challenge position is because a lot of us find it difficult to do that, because when we are falling apart, we're falling apart. So we don't have a clarity of mind. You know, that connection, because we've mangled all that connection. It's like having crossed lines, you know, on the telephone, because we're not sitting and letting us be clear. We're letting all the commotion, all the confusion, all the pain, all the fears, we're letting that take control. And so it is a challenge. We need to release that, and then we need to sit in the silence, receive our answers, you know, use our joy and whatever, be grateful that we're not really given something that we can't cope with, even when we feel like we really can't cope with it. We've got 34, which is the grouse, which is sacred spiral. Oh no, I get that now. So the challenge, when we spiral down into the darkness, it can be such a challenge to spiral back up. But if we're using the energy of the stillness and the void and the darkness to bring ourselves back up through the spiral, dance back up, you know, because you could have mentors, you can have friends, you can, you know, have a lovely hug from your loved ones that helps, but only you can spiral back up. Only you. No one can grab you by your hair and pull you back out of the darkness. We, you know, we are all connected, we are all as one, but we're also on our own in the respect of, like, we've got the control and chart, and you know, and that's where, you know, when you're in something that you have no control, this is saying you do have the control over you, and you've got to pull yourself back out of that spiral. You can't expect someone else to do it. They can't, they physically can't do it. So that, you know, they might give you advice, they might say, you know, or, you know, you might be in this place and you've come on and you've seen this video and I'm saying to you, and the cards are saying to you, spirit is saying to you, you know, this is advice coming from someone else, but the action is you. You've got to do it. You've got to spiral yourself back out. So you call in the grouse, you call in that sacred spiral, and you move yourself out of that energy with, you know, and that is, yeah, that's it really. I can't really, I can't really say any more because it's quite succinct and it's there. So the next card we've got is our sort of victory, as we've, you know, we're doing what is needed, we're connecting with the joy, we're going to pull ourselves out of it, we're going to look at our boundaries, we're going to do all that sort of thing. And then blimey, do you know, these were the first cards I ever bought. Well, the medicine cards were, and then my sacred path. I mean, other people will have it with their cards because obviously that's their connection with their cards. But these cards still, you know, after 20 something years, these cards still shock me at the answers they get. They're amazing. I just bloody love them. So when we looked, we had number 3 here, which is the 3 is like creating, creation and creating, and we've got 21, which is turns into a 3. So we know that if we're following this, if we stay in the spiral and you know, in the darker spiral, then no, this isn't going to happen. But if we bring ourselves out, what have we got? We've got rites of passage, change, because we'll be changed forever, because we've gone through a dark night of a soul, we've gone through a darkness, we've come out the other side, we've come out bigger, stronger, healthier, you know, as long as we have cleared out the energy, you know, we've done stuff for cleansing and clearing. So perfect card. Oh, with the badger though, we've got the badger, so he's 29. So he's 11. So 11 is also a master number, and it's universal connection. The badger is all about healing. You know, he digs down to the roots, you know, roots of plants that give us healing. So there's a lot of healing energy in there. And there's also correct aggression. Now, when we need to, so say we, I mean, because we looked at this reading as like a bit of boundaries because of Loki and Saturn in retrograde. And obviously Hioki came up at the beginning. So we're looking at that sort of energy of boundaries. Now, the animal that comes up for boundaries in these cards is the armadillo. But Badger, I often see as a boundary maker, because he is the right sort of aggression. So sometimes we have to be really, really blunt, because something is just not getting through. And so sometimes you do need to use aggression. Also, for me, sometimes aggression is great in a way of, like, saying, doing an aggressive dance, you know, like really stamping your feet, very Uru's energy, really stamping your feet, really getting that energy, because you're moving blockages and rubbish out of your system, out of your, or your energy bodies, you know, your aura, everything. So but aggression turned inwardly on yourself, obviously horrendous. And aggression on someone for no reason, because it's a reaction, that is not the right sort of aggression. But you can use aggression in very, very, very positive ways. So yeah, I this reading is lovely. It's really quite perfect for me. It gives me some clarity and some reassurance, although in my heart and my mind I know that, you know, times of darkness do eventually, I mean, they can go on for a very long time, so it's not like, you know, some things do last a long time, whether that's an illness or something. But that doesn't mean we can't laugh. It doesn't mean we can't have moments of joy, even if maybe the darkness comes back in. But as long as we're looking at it, and maybe we'll have a little wallow, maybe we'll have a good cry, maybe we'll lay down and just feel like, I can't do this anymore. As long as then we get up, as long as we drag ourselves back up the spiral, back up, and as long as we try and move forward, as long as we don't stay in that energy, then, you know, we're on the right track, we're doing the right things, we're moving forward. And it's very reassuring that the universe does have our back, even when we sometimes just think, Jesus, or, you know, or what the hell did I do in a past life? Or, you know, someone said something this morning. In fact, they're going through a bit of a time, and they said that they thought about, like, speaking to the Akashic records, and just saying, look, you know, if my involvement in this comes from something I did in a past life, then I am truly sorry. Oh my God, what an amazing thing. Because, you know, sometimes we have to we can only be responsible for ourselves. So let's take the responsibility. Let's say, you know, well, maybe something in this darkness is something to do with, you know, my past or karma, or, I mean, not everyone believes in that sort of thing, so that's fine. But I just thought it was beautiful, and I'm definitely going to do it. I'm definitely going to, you know, say to the Akashic records, you know, if any of this that is going on, if this darkness and this stuff that is going on is, you know, any part of something that is connected to me, I'm truly sorry, and I send my love and blessings, and you know, because it's genuine, and it's really what we should be doing, taking responsibility for what we can, our part, and you don't know how that may really help. So and maybe that's all you needed to do to for it to pass. Maybe you just have to take that responsibility, and, you know, and that sort of thing. So yeah, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you could take something from it. I'm truly sorry that it wasn't yesterday, but it just wasn't possible. I wasn't sure it was going to be today because it's going to get really, really hot again. And like I say, I am really struggling with the heat. But yeah, so yeah, just love and blessings to everyone. And whatever you're struggling through, hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're having a fabulous time, you're enjoying the summer, you're enjoying the heat. Yeah, for me, you know, they laugh about the British because we moan about the rain, we moan about the cold, we moan about the heat. I don't ever moan about the rain. I love the rain. If it gets really, really too cold for me, that can affect my fibro. um but I don't really moan about the cold because I think cold is easier. I think, you know, you can wrap up and stuff and crochet a nice hat and socks and whatever, and, you know, and snuggle in your jumper and whatever. But heat, no, for me, I do moan about the heat because I really struggle and I don't understand how people can enjoy it. But a lot of people do. So so I hope they're enjoying their time in the heat, and I'm really not. But again, you see, you got to laugh, and you can't, you know, what can I change about the heat? I can't change anything about the heat. So I might have a moan now and again, but most of the time I don't really moan too much about the heat. I just try and cope through it. And some days I really do struggle to cope through it, but at the minute I'm quite cool. I don't know, it seems quite cool in the library. But the other side of here is the boiler and the bathroom, so I didn't think it would be cool in here, but it does seem a bit cool. So maybe I'll just spend the whole day in the library. It's funny because the sun rises the east, which is the front of the house, and we have it come round, the sun come round the back of the house, and it literally bakes the back of the house. You can touch the bricks in the evening and they are scalding hot. And our bedroom is the back of the house. Although last night when I was on my first mastery working circle, and I had to come off because I was just on fire, I was at the front of the house, and that only has the sun in the morning. But it was there was no air. It was just absolutely baking in there, which is normally cooler, so that was a bit of a shock. But yeah, so although sometimes with the heat I know it's more of a spiritual thing, and again there's not a lot I can do about it because it can happen in the cold and suddenly my feet are like, it's like I've got them on burning hot coals, and there's obviously energy doing whatever energy is doing. And yeah, that's quite interesting too. But yeah, so hence no makeup again, because oh my goodness, I mean, it would just be sliding off my face, bit pointless. I don't really wear makeup in the heat because I don't really see much point. I do like my makeup, but it just seems a bit pointless, it dripping down my face. And then I would look like, I'd look like Hayoki, actually. Maybe I should do it. It'd be my war paint. You never know. But yeah, so what can I say to you? I just really keep trying to keep everything as light as possible, you know, try and, you know, dance it out, try and sing, try and, you know, just feel that movement of energy, let it shift through your body, let it, you know, burn away the blocks and stuff, and yeah, just do stuff that make you laugh or make you light, you know, your heart light, and you know, whatever it is. So obviously, as you know, for me it's crafting, although again in the heat I struggle a bit, but you know, just sitting sewing. I'm making a new journal, but I'm doing a fabric journal, so it's all fabric, so the pages are fabric, so I've cut all my calico pages out, and I'm sewing on that, and I'm just, oh, I don't know, I'm crocheting little bits of just random, and I'm dyeing little bits of fabrics, and I'm just sewing them on when I feel like it. And you know, I don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to have like little samples of bits that I've done, and lots of it. I say embroidery. I don't know any embroidery stitches. I don't particularly want to learn embroidery either. So, or at the moment, but I do like a running stitch. That's all I do. That's all I can do. And then adding beads and stuff. I love sewing like that. But I don't do any sort of fancy stitches or any stitches, really. I'm gonna go. It's 40 minutes, so and it's quite a long video. So again, third time, love and blessings, and yeah, just try and be happy, try and bring in the trickster, try and laugh at yourself, try and laugh at situations, try and lift that darkness out, try and lift that sludgy, yucky energy. And yeah, see you next time. You know, obviously, if you like the video and you want to leave a comment and stuff, that'd be great. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.